Just past 7 a.m. on Friday, June 6th, and it's comfortable. 70 degrees outside, there on the right, and 71 inside. So without air conditioning and the sun up on Cape Cod, pretty comfortable to start the day, huh, T-Rex? You ready? Yeah. The birds woke me up. I think T-Rex too. At about 4:15, I think the birds just started singing up a cacophony. And so I got up, started looking at the weather, and there is a lot of weather. It is a very fronty Friday. First thing I like to look at is the lightning. Where's the lightning? Where's the energy? The National Lightning Display from WeatherTap showed broken areas of lightning from Nova Scotia to Maine to Massachusetts to Oklahoma. Wow, Oklahoma. It's always worse somewhere else. So there is a front, that's the primary front from southeastern Canada all the way to the southern plain states. And along that front is some serious weather today. Here's another look at the fronts. This is the analysis, or actually it was a 6-hour forecast from the Weather Prediction Center for this morning at 8 a.m. And there's a front in southeastern Canada. There's another front right along Interstate 90 in New England. And yet another front off to our south with that old system that could have been maybe, if it went over water, a subtropical storm that we were talking about a few days ago. Well, it did generate 3 to 5 inches of rain in eastern North Carolina yesterday. That's a wild card. How close is it going to get this afternoon? And the front from the northwest has come in and it's stalled here. And the National Severe Storm Prediction Center says that front is going to generate severe weather. And it has the 2 o'clock map with a red shaded area right over Massachusetts. From Kentucky to Massachusetts, and probably a little further north. Severe thunderstorms are going to occur today. And there's the look from the Severe Weather Center's convective outlook. They say that in New England we have 1,000 joules per kilogram. Say that first phrase in the morning. 1,000 joules per kilogram of energy. 1 to 2,000 actually. Over New England with a lifted index of -6 degrees Celsius. That means if you take a parcel of air from the surface and cause it to go up and up, it's going to be 6 degrees warmer than its surrounding environment, which is incredibly buoyant. And that makes thunderstorms. And this morning, right out of the gate, Kevin Lemanowitz, what were you doing up so early this morning? Severe thunderstorm warning in effect this morning at 7 a.m. Near Lunenburg, Massachusetts for a storm generating potential small hail and wind gusts over 55 miles an hour, which is rather amazing to me because the sun was not even up, causing the heating of the day yet. Usually you need the sunshine to fuel these things. And the temperature profile is not that significant, so there's just subtle cooling aloft and it's still very warm down low. The regional temperature roundup showed Boston at about 73, 74 degrees, pretty impressive, with the air coming from the north and even northeast after 7 a.m. The high temperature for Boston today occurred around midnight when it was 80. Now we have this low-level flow from the northeast. It's only down about 3,000 or 4,000 feet. Then aloft, the air is from the southwest, summit of Mount Washington, only 20 to 25 miles an hour, but it's from the southwest. So that creates a boundary in the atmosphere where the southwest wind goes over the top of the northeast wind that's shear. And what potential energy there is. If we look at yesterday over New York, about 5 o'clock, there was a report of 3-inch diameter hail near Pulteney, New York. And there is the radar image at that time. And there was a weather chaser out there. Didn't see the 3-inch diameter hail. I forgot your name, but I'll put you here in your video. the handle on X with he says one of the wildest storms he's ever seen in New York, with the wind and then the hail battering down. Now this is just west and north of Binghamton, New York, in the Finger Lakes, and generally the air coming along from west to east. What happens a lot of times upstream on I-90 to the west of New England yesterday will happen today in New England, and that is the case. We are forecasting severe storms today in New England. The national advisories, watches, and warnings from this morning: ongoing severe weather with flooding mostly in Oklahoma, but also you see the green patches in New England with flood watches now in effect for much of Massachusetts and New Hampshire and Maine, although I don't think we have to limit it to those borders. T-Rex wants to go on a little walk. There's some of my summer flowers coming on. Lots of weeding to do. Did I tell you about the three-eared rabbit we have in the neighborhood? Look at that later in the end more. I'm trying to grow grass seed right there. It's not really working that well. Coming over here to look at this thermometer. Yeah, 67 degrees. And we have air from the southwest. Oh no, it just actually came around from the northeast here. So the backdoor front coming right down to Cape Cod. And there are so many wild cards. Which way the wind blows is very significant when it comes to getting the forecast right. And that system that came off North Carolina yesterday, that may clip Cape Cod tonight. So we may have some overachieving rain here if that happens. And what's going to happen? I'm going to have the hose, old T-Rex now. What's going to happen over the next 60 hours is a huge challenge. Let's see if we can even get today right. I think here on Cape Cod, we're staying pretty nice, although I wouldn't be surprised to see some low clouds and fog come in. But for most of New England, it's a rough, severe weather day. Tracking play-by-play today. Here's the NAM from last night. Now, the NAM shows the heavier thunderstorms a little bit further north of where the flood watch is, but nevertheless, they have already begun, and they're going to be flowing from southwest to northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. And any one of these little thunderstorms can have wind gusts over 55 miles an hour, and we are going to have hail in New England today. These are little dynamo storms, and they become quite numerous as the day goes on, with flash flooding and training storms. That means you get a storm, and then you get another storm, and then you get another storm. And I would say the most likely trajectory for this severe weather and flooding would be probably the Pioneer Valley, and then along Route 2 in northern Massachusetts, and then into Hillsborough and Merrimack counties and Rockingham counties in New Hampshire, and then points north in Maine, while mostly Boston and Cape Cod probably protected from the thunderstorms with this low-level cool air knocking the legs out from underneath the storms. But how long can that last? Here comes tonight. Now we have that low off of North Carolina getting closer and looking like it wants to clip Cape Cod with some rain first thing tomorrow morning, and then another batch of heavy rain and thunderstorms are likely for the 14th Saturday in a row in New England, with rain and downpours and perhaps continued flash flooding into tomorrow. And then Cape Cod looks like it tries to dry out, but that low going to our south means an onshore flow, so the low clouds and fog will probably linger, and we're all going to be very humid, much less hot. I think we're done with the 90s for a while. And Sunday looking better, and doesn't show much going on Sunday. You see a few showers forming in the mountains there. That goes through about 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Oh yeah, 90s. All right, so what about QPF? Talk about the temperature in a second. QPF with these storms, the NAM has the heaviest rain just north of some of the other guidance, which would have the heavy rain coming right into Worcester County and just on the periphery with Boston, probably not making it inside I-95, but north and west of I-95 has the potential for the heaviest rain, even though the NAM is painting it more in northwestern Massachusetts, southern Vermont, and much of south central New Hampshire and southern Maine. And once again, the blue, which gets up to Nantucket too, is a ½ inch, and then it's kind of a gap there from about the Cape Cod Canal to Boston, and then it builds back up again, and the purple indicates up to 2 inches. And if you see some yellow in there, that indicates 4 inches. So some spots may get more than 4 inches of rain in the next 60 hours. This is through 2 p.m. on Sunday. When Sunday dries out, it's a nicer day. But then the Euro brings in another storm on Sunday night. Oh, that's changed too. Take a look at T-Rex here and mention that yesterday we had overachieving warmth, and we thought that would happen. Boston didn't make 90 because of an onshore flow, but Norwood, Massachusetts got to 96 degrees, the hot spot in New England. The old record was 90 from 2021, June 5th, 2021, and also record broken in Freiburg, Maine. It was 95 degrees, and the old record there also from 2021 of 90. And Mount Washington, the old record yesterday was 63 degrees from June 5th, 2005, 20 years ago. And yesterday, Mount Washington even got to 64 degrees. And Mount Washington this morning in the 50s, it's cooler and there's not much wind. But like I said, it's a very buoyant atmosphere, and there's a strong flow high up in the atmosphere that's going to help generate these severe thunderstorms for today. So again, we're safest on Cape Cod, and there's some smoke too. Oh, I forgot to show the satellite image of that storm. There was a storm that lasted all night that was near Portland, and that severe storm brewing right over the Massachusetts-New Hampshire border. In northern Maine, that's a mostly clear sky, but that's smoke in the sky, and also over Cape Cod, mostly clear, but also some smoke in the sky. And the image off of North Carolina, and this is from just after 8 o'clock. I waited for it to get a little lighter, and I haven't even actually seen it yet because it's only 7:15 when I'm talking, but there's that system off in North Carolina looking pretty impressive. Remember, this is the one the National Hurricane Center earlier in the week said we have to watch, and I say we still have to watch it. It generated 5 inches of rain in North Carolina, so there could be some surprises, especially Cape Cod and the islands from that one. All right, now let's go to the Euro. By the way, the GFS Fantasy Hurricane du jour would have it Friday, June 20th. GFS generates a hurricane into south central Texas. Every day, another hurricane in another spot in another time. And the Euro at that time shows just beautiful hot weather, summer weather, classic kind of weather I wouldn't like over Texas. That's 2 weeks out, by the way. And we only go 10 days here because you can't even get 1 day sometimes. But here is the Euro. And the Euro does show that low south of New England and just trying to stay separate, but here are severe thunderstorms developing with a wave on this front, this backdoor front. It's going to lift back to the north. Oh yeah, Boston at 80, the high for the day, has already occurred, staying in the 70s, but the dew point's in the 60s, so it's very steamy, while New York City could be 85 to 90 today. Tomorrow, now, there is another round of showers and thunderstorms with that low going east of Cape Cod, and it looks like some backlash rains try to come in from that system into Cape Cod tomorrow night. And then it's a soaking Saturday for a lot of us, not everybody, but a lot. And then Sunday, brief time off, but then here comes another wave, upper level low over the Great Lakes states. Another wave of low pressure comes in Sunday night. That's wind from the east, and that's torrential rain now only 3 days out. That was not in the forecast from yesterday from the Euro. I did not check the GFS, but the Euro would have a soaker here Sunday night, mostly late Sunday into Monday. Just amazing. And now that upper level low is pressing toward New England, and we're going to have another wave and a front coming in on Tuesday, and so that's off and on rain now through Tuesday. We're talking inches and inches of rain, most likely north of Cape Cod. I'm always kind of centric to wherever I'm standing, and that's where I'm standing right now. And then it looks like Wednesday and Thursday, the air is coming right out of south central Canada with weak fronts and a chance of a shower and a thunderstorm as we try to warm back up into the 80s. But that air coming out of south central Canada means smoke is going to come back into our sky. Hopefully some of those fires are getting rained on in Canada. I couldn't imagine living near those. And now we get out to Friday the 13th, and it looks like still another front, but instead of having the 570 thickness over us, now we have the 556 thickness over us. So that front is moving faster and further south. That's a big change next Friday. And then Saturday the 14th, of course, there are more showers and thunderstorms as the front is going to stall just to our south with batches of energy coming along. Next weekend 15 in a row, looks like chance for rain and what looked like a possible nor'easter next Saturday night, which was 10 days now. On Sunday, doesn't look like a nor'easter, but it does look like a front. And boy, this is 10 days out, 240 hours. That's where we stop at 8 p.m. on Sunday, June 16th. June 15th, right? Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th. Yes, this is Sunday the 15th, and there's a strong storm up in northern Ontario with the 570 thickness over New England. That's very warm to hot and very sticky weather. You can tell by the thunderstorms, and the 576 thickness is over the Great Lakes states. So that would be just an intense summer type 80s and 90s with sun and storms. You know, when you have such a wet spring, it leads to feedback. So if your ground is all wet, and most of the region is wet, you end up with more fuel for more thunderstorms. It's kind of a perpetual thing. And let's look at the rainfall potential here across the nation for the next 10 days, also using the same Euro model. And you can see a couple conduits, one coming across Canada, another one coming from Texas to New England, and yet that's another one, the subtropical flow from off of North Carolina to just south of Cape Cod, although clipping Cape Cod, and this goes out now 10 days. And look at all the red and the yellow, red being 2 inches, yellow being 4 inches. So it's a widespread, wet, warm start to summer across most of the lower 48 United States. Of course, the desert Southwest is not getting much rain, and that's going to be the source for heat. And there is some anomalous cold in Canada, and that is a source for energy. It's always a battle between warm and cold. And happy to be on Cape Cod yesterday, watching the thermometer move from 95 to 100 on my dashboard thermometer. I guess was not that out to lunch, but by the time I got to Cape Cod, it was down into the 80s, and we made a stop. So I guess that's the end of the weather. T-Rex, you want to go toward Angela's house, don't you? We made a stop in New Bedford, the whaling city, to pick up some supplies for the swimming area here in South Dennis. And what fun it was, kind of going back in time and learning about this building here. And it used to be a school next to a place that used to wash stuff. So we're going to get a little history of New Bedford industry, and then a ride to Cape Cod, where we'll have the sunset, just about the sunset, close to sunset. And this is the look at that bunny that was sitting in the yard. Try and count the ears. How many ears on that bunny? Looks like 2, maybe 3.5, maybe 3.5, 4. And he's probably within about 200 yards of us right this very second. But I don't see him. And we're 17 minutes in, so here's the and more. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. You smell that, Bunny Rex? All right. Stay safe. Play-by-play weather until further notice. Midday sunshine. Thursday, June 5th. Good sunbathers. I think it's about 87 degrees. And I had a comment, somebody asking about the boats out here. Mostly belong to the West Augusta Yacht Club, which offers launch service. So, Aero Chick, I believe you asked. Yep, there's a launch service. People just get delivered to their sailboat. And it's just a remarkably calm day. There's some low-level pollution. I think it's different than the upper-level smoke. This is more of low-level ozone and emissions not being mixed out because there's very little air moving today. Very light wind, which is surprising considering there's a front off to our west. Gorgeous. Suddenly summer, day 2. A few minutes later, I think it's just cooled off a couple degrees, about 83. And look at the boats. They're pointed toward the ocean. So apparently a sea breeze has developed. That will negate 90 degrees at Logan Airport. Even though just a few miles inland, probably still hits 90. And the wind may come around from the west. Temperature may actually jump back up if that happens. Calling the play-by-play on a lazy Thursday. Rex, we're gonna drive south. Gonna go to a new spot and check it out. Where are we going, T-Rex? How far south? How's Buzzards Bay? See if it's less than 94 there. That's what's on the dashboard thermometer right now. I think it's more like 89 actually. Going to the whaling city. Still in the 90s on the dashboard thermometer, but nice view coming down the hill to New Bedford. Why did we come to New Bedford? Going back up the hill. This is why we came to New Bedford, T-Rex. Check it out. Look at all those green and red and orange and yellow balls. Look at all this stuff. There's a gate around here somewhere. name of this place that sells fishing stuff? It's Ketcham. But I don't know how to get on there, in there. Guess we gotta go around the block again. EWASHING Washing and Co. I don't think it's washing anymore. I think it's fishing. Yeah, it's fishing. The size of this. What a story. Are we gonna get some history in here, T-Rex? Ketcham Fishing Supplies. Ketcham. I love that. Ha. Oh yeah. I think we're gonna start doing some lobstering too. There are the yellow balls over there. Cool, look at all the choices.
So you're more than welcome to change your sizes and orders and come on, T-Rex. You want me to hold them or you go on?
Sure. Go ahead. He'll go with you more than he'll go with me.
Oh, most dogs like girls. You know why? Because usually the girls are the handlers.
And the feeders.
Yeah, that's
yes.
it.
Look at Rex. He's like, oh, sold.
I'm so proud. So these are the big 16-inch ones.
Yeah.
Those are the smaller ones. And you said you saw red. So yes, I do have red. I'm sorry.
Oh, interesting. Oh, choices.
You are more than welcome to get red if you want.
What about red and yellow?
Or you want
How
to get
cool would that
10
be?
and 10?
6 and 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. 6 and 6. I'm so close. Sorry.
Neat. Look at them all.
I was thinking when somebody said somebody's here, Tim to see you. I thought because I have a brother-in-law named Tim. I'm like, Tim.
Yeah.
Who the heck is this guy?
Tim, I'm an atmospheric scientist.
Oh, nice to meet you, Tim. I'm Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Tim Kelly.
Nice to meet you.
I was a weatherman
nice
on
to
TV
meet
for
you,
like 30
too.
years.
I know. You know what? You look familiar. I was just gonna say you look awfully familiar. Was it a local channel?
NECN, and I was on Dialing for Dollars with George.
High five, Tim.
I forget his name. George, Dialing for Dollars in New Bedford. We had a studio here.
That was
George.
Oh my God.
What was his
remember
last
going down to
name?
the local TV station
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, I was there in 1993.
Oh gosh, 93. I remember
That's,
going there when
33.
I was really little though.
Yeah.
And I think my mom was doing something or something. I remember when I was real little, she used to take me to the peanut store. I missed that one so bad.
What did this place used to be? Look at all these buildings.
This used to be an old schoolhouse right here, and then they built. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
well over 100 years old.
School.
Yeah, and they built the new one, which is not new. It's just down on County Street,
Yeah.
near the McFadden School, because this one they got overgrown.
And what's that big stack that says washing on it? On the other side of that stack, it says washing company.
Oh, well, that used to be a washing a building that used to wash things a long time ago.
Like boats?
No, like laundry. And matter of fact, there were some old pictures that my boss had found. He's now retired, but they showed like pictures of like young kids working it with mops and pushing big carts with laundry and things in it. It was very interesting.
Nice hill.
And then after that, it was something else, and there were pictures of there used to be a street there, and the cars used to park slanted. And some things have kind of changed, but mostly.
So you got your stuff in there too. My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Are you like supplying all of the East Coast or what?
Well, yeah, we go down.
Need an oyster farm? Who wants to start an oyster farm?
So we do oyster here as well, and
Well, we met another person, T-Rex. He's making a lot of friends over here. And what's your
T-Rex?
What's your name?
Hey, Myron Hozeski, Myron the meteorologist.
Myron the meteorologist. Tim Kelly.
I wish. That was my dream job when I was a youngster, but things didn't quite work out. But instead, I got this great career as Chief Operations Officer at Ketcham Supply. Been here 45 years.
Wow, and what a name. Who came up with the name Ketcham?
Ketcham is actually Ketcham. It's Ketcham, and that was Bob's last name. It's like an ice cream guy named Cone. You know?
Right, exactly.
And he happened to be a lobsterman. He started making his own commercial wire lobster pots. And the first commercial wire pots made in the state of Massachusetts that were wood. And somebody saw him, and that's how Ketcham was born.
And that's where wood lobster pots spit the dust because of...
That's right, they're greatest coffee tables.
And what was his name?
Bob Ketcham.
Bob Ketcham.
Yeah.
And he's the one that came up with the first wire.
Lobster pots.
Oh, neat. Seems like you supply more than just New Bedford. This massive.
Yeah, so actually you're looking at right now, we do a ton of aquaculture, which we're probably responsible for about 1 billion oysters grown a year with all of our aquaculture equipment. And each oyster filters 50 gallons of water a day. So you do the math.
50 billion
50
gallons.
billion gallons of water a day. So they want to keep pumping junk into the water, people, all this runoff and all this stuff, and the oysters eat up all the nitrogen and turn it into food.
Well, that's very interesting. The oysters clean the ocean, and then we eat the oysters.
That's correct. That's correct. And if you get oysters, the oysters do an unbelievable job of filtering.
So they're filtering, and they take the yuck out, and they don't put the yuck in us.
That's correct. They're such a good filter feeder that they're able to pass all that out and poop it out and turn it into that goes to the bottom and feeds the fish.
Algae food, or algae, and then the whales eat the algae. And
so it's a circle.
Yeah.
It's a circle, and it's great to be in a green industry.
That's awesome. Speaking of a circle, there's no circle around the sun today, even though usually in a sky like this there is, but that's smoke.
Yeah, we had the smoke from the
smoke doesn't make the
Yeah.
Byron, the meteorologist. So nice to meet you.
Yeah. Hey, nice to meet you too, buddy.
I
appreciate it.
Want to be on Out the Door Weather and More with Steve and T-Rex. Steve is a cat,
absolutely.
And T-Rex is the dog, and we do the weather every day on YouTube.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to feature Ketcham.
Yeah, so you got
Supply.
Actually, I'll definitely watch. I watch
cool.
YouTube all the time.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know that to do it. I was wondering where you've been. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's a lot more fun. I get to do weather for 20 minutes at a time instead of 2 minutes, 1 minute.
That's a nice gig.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was my dream job when I was a young lad.
The beauty of it is we can all be meteorologists every day. You go out the door, you make a forecast.
My wife always knows what the weather is.
That's funny.
I always got my face on watching the
all right.
what's coming
Thanks.
down the pike. And when a hurricane comes around, you get all excited.
Oh, and you're just high enough here. Water's going to go all below you.
Yeah. Well, it was at one time in 1938. The water was right down here on Purchase Street, right down the road.
Yeah, nice hill.
Right
This is a nice hill.
Right over Route 18 is down there. That was all underwater.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, as you know, Myron, the meteorologist.
Well, that's fine. Well, I got plenty of flotation if that happens.
I know, look at that. The whole parking lot will float up and over.
Well, that's where the aquaculture business is a huge growing industry. Funny thing.
Yeah. We're in New Bedford. We got to at least go look at the water. Kyler's
Proceed to the route.
Seafood market. You got to think that they probably have some fresh seafood.
Proceed to the route.
The wife is squawking at the husband. Is just casually eating some grass. Where are the kids? They're down just south of 195. Oh, rocks. And we've got a cute little tugboat, and we've got at least two major fishing vessels right there. Maybe four. I see how they park them. Good parking jobs, stern to stern. Very impressive. And a wide shot, because they just keep going on and on and on. All the way out there to Buzzards Bay. Oh yeah, the temperature here feels like it's closer to 80 than 90. Immediately adjacent to the water. To the Grinnell Mill. Bourne Bridge treated us so badly last week, but going for it. And the dashboard thermometer runs warm. It says it's 78 degrees. One of those tugs that go by our house. Going underneath the bridge right now. Saw our water spout over there in August, maybe 30 years ago. Cape Cod. Been over this bridge plenty of times. Bass River, back in Cape Cod. Dashboard thermometer says 83, so I'll give it about 80. The cooling effect of the Atlantic Ocean and Nantucket Sound. This is Osprey territory. Yeah, look at that beauty right there. Just staring at us. Hey, what's for dinner? There's only one thing for dinner. Fish. What's for breakfast? Fish. What's for lunch? Fish. Where are the fish? They're right there in the water. Oh, it's so much more pleasant down here. Not that I was stifling, but Bass River beauty.
I don't want to let it go because then you don't. So I'll get no S. I have oversized ones. If the oversized doesn't work, I'll just put it.
And the moon, of course.
It will be all set.
How many babies in the nest, do you know?
I saw 2 or 3 heads. I'm not sure.
Look at them, proud parents.
T-Rex. Hi. What are you doing?
Daisy season is here. Rhododendron season is passing. We've got iris. Lovebird song. The sounds of birds here on Wildwood Street in South Dennis. Seems an appropriate enough place. My old playground when I was a little boy and still as an adult. These wild roses about to bloom. Beautiful. Time-lapse time. Not so smoky today. Sun and cirrus and smoke. Front coming in from the west. Looks like we hit the mid-90s in south central New Hampshire. Not sure if Boston had the sea breeze reverse or not. So it may have hit 90 at my house, but here on Cape Cod it's quite comfortable. Here's the Bass River time lapse. And some sunlit iris. We've had plenty of rain on Cape Cod, but please keep it away for our Saturday. Still a moving target of a weekend forecast. Very good. Thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow.